You are with the big story today, and today we're going to be focusing on what should be called an absolute menace. The menace of open borewells and pits. This callousness by our civic authorities is costing our young children's lives in two separate recent incidents. The first in Tamil Nadu, in which rescue operations are still on. It has been about 70 hours ever since the 2-year-old Sujit, who slipped into a borewell. He was playing outside his house Friday evening when he fell inside a 600 feet deep borewell. The rescue operations that have been on now for nearly 4 days. And in a separate incident that took place in Thane in Maharashtra, a 7-year-old boy died because he fell into an open pit while playing. He fell inside this unguarded pit which had been dug up by the BMC for a water pipeline project. It was lying unattended for months without any warning signs. And this is what we're asking. Why is there no accountability for these death traps? When will civic authority officers pay the price for this nature of negligence? We're going to be throwing open this to our panelists in just a bit. Concerned voices from each of the ruling state government of these two states, speaking to them, some activists as well, in just a bit. First, getting in ground inputs in both of these cases here. Our correspondent Pramod from Trichy, our correspondent Disha from Thane. First to you, Pramod, here, where the rescue operations are still on. Okay, we're going to be reconnecting with Pramod on that in just a bit. In Thane, where another tragic case has taken place here, our correspondent Disha with those details. Disha, this is a life that has already been lost, drowning in that open pit. And once again, you have the BMC caught in this negligence.
Well, certainly, Seher, and in fact, I am standing at the same spot where a 7-year-old boy named Aniket Gaikwad lost his life, where he was playing here with his friends. If I can ask my video journalist Nitin Fattare to show you, this is an open pit which has not been covered for months now. You can see that how one section of the pit is covered, but on the other hand, this portion of the pit is not at all covered, and this is where he was playing and he slipped here. And this pit is approximately, say, 15 to 20 feet deep is what the residents and the locals are telling us at this point in time. In fact, you can see the pipeline. This is the pipeline, a water pipeline project which is being undertaken by the BMC in concern. This is a Tansa pipeline project which has been going on for months and months now. But for the last 4 months, this entire project was stalled because of the monsoon, and it was supposed to start only post-monsoon this year. If I can ask my video journalist, on a day of Diwali, Seher, this is the unfortunate incident. The young boy, he stays here right next to this particular place, and this is how he lost his life. In fact, it took almost an hour for
Disha,
him to be rescued,
no
but he was declared
the
dead.
area has not been cordoned off. There is nothing here on ground to ascertain that this is not a place for anyone to be present or venturing out. There are no red tapes, no warning signs whatsoever.
Well, certainly here you can see there are no signboards, there are no signs of an alert or even a precautionary caution for people actually to not step in, because the water pipeline project is very close to where the residents live, you can see. So a lot of people use this place. Children particularly play in this area. But for the last 4 months, this entire portion, you can see the rack, it has not been barricaded at all. In fact, they have removed this particular portion of the rack. It was covered until 4 months ago. So here, of course, Seher, at this point in time, it is absolute negligence. There is no security personnel as well. It's absolute left unguarded. No BMC worker or staff has come in the last 4 months for that matter.
That's right. Yes, Disha, stay on with us. Going across to Trichy with our correspondent there in Pramod, where the effort is, of course, racing against time to save the life of 2-year-old Sujit. We have with us our correspondent Pramod with those details. This is an operation that has been on now today on the 4th day. The entire area that has been dug up with huge earth-moving machines, and yet it is a race against time. Today is the 4th day here, and we're hoping that he can be pulled out alive.
It surely is, and it's like extremely painful for the parents and the family and the entire state of Tamil Nadu. Yesterday, I would simply say that it didn't even like celebrate Diwali properly because they were waiting for Sujit to be recovered. In fact, you could look behind me how the people who are actually working in rescue mission and making sure that no other untoward incident occurs, they are working 24/7. That they have to eat at the same place. There's a borewell. After the second rig also had some sort of issues. Now they are using a borewell, and what they are, as per sources, what information we are getting is they are trying to dig 3 small holes because the rock is so solid and so strong that if they decide to use the actual rig here, it's causing a lot of vibrations which might lead to the original borewell to collapse. So that's the reason they are using borewells, things right now, and they're like digging 3 small holes, post which they will once again bring the bigger rig and try to break it open. So that's how they're trying to do it here. So far, they have reached up to 45 feet as per officials over here, and they have to go almost 98 feet. That's the whole distance they have to go, and that's what they are battling around. People are here, everybody, officials and everyone are here. They are not bothered about the environment. They are not bothered about the dust that is coming over. Everyone is fighting to make sure that Sujit is rescued as soon as possible.
Yes, Pramod, stay connected with us because we're going to be taking in inputs through this discussion here from you. Let's also go across to our panelists with us. We have Mr. Kovai Satyan, spokesperson of the ruling party in Tamil Nadu there, the AIDMK in government. Mr. Prashant Gautam, social activist. Appreciate you being with us. First to you, Mr. Kovai Satyan. There have been several such mishaps concerning open borewells, and this particular case was of a borewell which was lying defunct, which was dug up several years ago, and the authorities never bothered to cover it up. It was not in use, it was lying open, just waiting for another such tragedy of this sort to happen.
This incident is unfortunate, and a borewell which is being dug at a private place of an individual inside his farmhouse, he had left it open for the last 5 years, which resulted his own son falling into it. And it's been like the past 72 hours, the NDRF, Naval Lignite Corporation, officials from ONGC, officials from IIT, the entire state mechanisms, and the slew of Deputy Chief Minister is there and 4 ministers are there. And yes, they are working day and night to successfully retrieve this child who has fallen into the borewell. Now, we certainly don't have the mechanism to visit individual private players and private properties to see whether everything is put in place or not. Those kinds of mechanisms or those kinds of infrastructure is still not available with any state for that matter, not Tamil Nadu. So I would restrict myself not taking this into a political or a TRP rated story. And I would like to stick to the efforts that the government is doing to bring out the child successfully. And if at all, if there are any learnings that we need to take, and I would welcome those suggestions and learnings from you.
Mr. Kovai Satyan, asking question to the authority and the government in charge is not a political question. It's not a question of making this a political debate. It is asking the authority, the party, the government in charge. It's asking the outfit in charge which is responsible for keeping lives safe. Mr. Prashant Gautam, please respond to that. The government once again wanting to wash its hands off this, saying that afraid that they would be taking the blame for this and questioning the issue that is being questioned.
What are all the efforts that has gone in, whether the efforts gone in is in the right direction or not?
Yeah. So, first, this whole incident needs to be bifurcated into, 2 parts. One is pre-incident. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. So, this whole incident needs to be bifurcated into two parts. One is pre-incident, and one is during the incident, the plan, the actual implementation of the efforts. So the pre-incident we always takes the route, right, wherein we say prevention is better than cure. So there has been a 2010 court order, Supreme Court writ petition responding to it, where it was told very clearly that, these kind of open borewells needs to be attended to, and they need to be sealed, and there needs to be registered, and there needs to be, a proper monitoring of such borewells. And then 2015, there was a Tamil Nadu government order. Yes. Yes. There needs to be registered. There needs to be, all these borewells need to be registered and, monitored and everything. In 2015, Tamil Nadu also passes a government order asking all these things to be done. And the collector instructs, all the village administrative officers, everyone to go and, seal all the open borewells and everything. So this happens in 2015. So right now in 2019, we see that there is an open borewell which has been sealed for, not being used for 5 years. So this clearly shows that, there is been a lack of, monitoring from the government's end, right? There needs to be accountability. That's why we keep saying in Subhashri's issue, in Seturaj, where the electric pole fell down, Subhashri, where the banner fell down, everywhere. And right now it's Surjit. How many more deaths do we need? Celebrities and deaths, right? Basically, these people die, making the government look upon their actions, which need to be done in the normal course of administration. So this is very sad, and we can only hope for a better time. We can only hope for a detailed response going forward, at least, that the government takes all these things into consideration and makes sure that they put in their efforts to seal off the rest of the open bore wells and such safety hazards.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Kovai Satyan, please respond to that because it is at the end of the day also the inspection that needs to be done by the PWD, the concerned government authority here on this. Yes, there are massive rescue operations that are on right now. Several experts have been called in, racing against time to save the life of the child here, Sujit. But to avoid these incidents, there have been enough such cases in Tamil Nadu. There have been reported close to 11 that we've seen in the past few years here, where avoidable accidents are causing the death of our children.
I wanted to defer making any political statement, because each and every accident, if the onus and the blame game has to be on the government, which means that the persons who are there in the ecosystem put themselves in the role of a Puritans, and they say that they are right and the government is wrong. So if anybody wants to take these kinds of immature discussions forward, then I am not game for it. The question here is, government cannot poke into the nose of each and every backyard of an individual. There are private borewells which is being dug without the knowledge of the government. They didn't even bring it up to the knowledge of the government. Only when these kinds of untoward incidences happen, then suddenly everybody realizes that the mechanism or the system is not in place. I would appreciate the idealistic way of taking forward the discussion is, what are all the rescue efforts that is being taken at this point of time, and what is the learning and outcome. Then we can start the blame game, saying that the government, the village administrative officers
I would appreciate if you're not so obsessed with politics. There is not a single political question that I've asked you. I have not called in the DMK to pitch him against the AIDMK here. You are the one who's obsessed with politics. We are just asking relevant questions that need to be asked to the government and concerned authorities in charge.
If
every simple question asked to the government is not political. Who is obsessed with politics, sir? Every question that is being asked to you, you're saying it's a political question. How has the government become so touchy about questions being asked?
Please look back at your question.
Yes.
Being a responsible media house, you shouldn't you be covering up the kind of efforts that has been put in, or you are here to question saying that each and every accident,
that you cannot be checking every single open borewell. It is your job to do so. It is an undertaking by the government that they will be sealing all borewells. The questions are not going to be asked to suit your political purpose here, sir.
To say this. Mr.
Prashant Gautam, please respond to this.
Miss Sahar Zaman, I think you are not in sync with reality. People here are watching the kind of effort that is going in, and if you want to post a question saying that what is right or what is wrong, this is not the time.
Who needs to be held accountable here? Mr. Gautam, please respond.
Yeah. So basically, if you notice, this whole thing, right? As Mr. Kovai Satyan says, nobody's trying to politicize the issue here. All that we are asking is, today, does the government have a report as to how many borewells were sunk during the last 5 years, and do they have a report on how many have been monitored and what were the monitoring periods, right? And what is the current status of these borewells today? He can, whatever this particular private borewell, as saying that, this is not under their ambit. But then, what about the other borewells? Can we guarantee that there will not be another issue that might not happen in the same manner. There are road safety weeks that are, monitored every year, right, by the traffic police. The same manner, can't there be one day a national safety day or something like that? No, wherein every administration in the country goes and monitors every locality and make sure that these kinds of dangerous openings and crumbling infrastructure are made
That's
to
right.
are taken note of,
it is
and
their
immediate
job to be
rectification happens on
inspecting.
these kinds of issues. Exactly.
And they're desperate to get a pat on their back here only because the rescue operations have been so incredible. They've been digging for 4 weeks, for 4 days here, sir. What is so successful about this rescue operation? You still haven't managed to pull out the child. They're racing against time here. Today is the 4th day. You want us to congratulate you on that?
Of you to make
4
a
days
statement
down
like
and you
that.
haven't been able to pull out
Are
the
you
child
aware
from
of
a
what is the
borewell?
kind of missionaries that is going into? Are you aware the kind of geographical hindrances
Let's go
that
across
prevails there?
to our correspondent Disha
Can you
with
just
more
list out the
voices
kind of
there in
operations
the
and
other
the effort
tragedy
that
that
has
is
been gone
taking
in?
place here in Thane. No, Mr. Spokesperson of the AIDMK, we're not here to praise you for work that is not being done by the government. Disha is there in Thane with more voices here. Disha, this is yet another tragic case here of authorities not taking this seriously enough. There are facts, statistics available now, at least of the past 10 years, in deaths that are caused only by negligence, purely by negligence of the civic authorities.
Well, certainly, sir. In fact, in the last 6 months or so, we have seen at least 2 such incidents happening only with children here in concern, where children are either falling into an open drain or open pit for that matter, especially here in the state of Maharashtra. Let's speak to a few people out here and know their concerns. आप बताइए, ये जो यहाँ पे जो हादसा हुआ, आपको लगता है कि वो प्योरली सरकार की गलती थी या क्या, क्योंकि वो कुछ भी उन्होंने अभी तक इसमें ये सुधार नहीं किया है?
वैसा तो देखेगा तो पूरा उसका सरकार की गलती है। आज तक ऐसा ये अगर ये ढका हुआ रहता था तो हमारा बच्चे का ऐसा हादसा नहीं होता था। तो इंसाफ देना ही चाहिए, इंसाफ मिलना ही चाहिए। ऐसा अभी आगे नहीं होना चाहिए। काम चालू होके कितना 4 महीने से ज़्यादा हो गया और बंद पड़ा है, तो क्या होएगा सोचो। छोटा बच्चों को क्या समझता है, माँ बाप बच्चों को पास तो नहीं बैठा रहते हैं ना, अपना पेट बचने के लिए जाते हैं। तो फिर ऐसा हादसा होएगा तो कैसा होएगा? तो ये गवर्नमेंट की है ना, ये सब सरकार की गलती है ना।
ये काम इतना लंबा है, काम 1-2 महीना होगा, काम इधर आया नहीं अभी तक। वो तुम काम होने का पहले वो ढक्कन निकल के रखा। अभी वो छोटे बच्चे हैं, उनको तो इतना तक समझ नहीं है खेलने का। वो तो कैसा भी खेलेगा, किधर भी भागेगा। उसका हो गया अभी हादसा। पर वो सब गलती म्युनिसिपैलिटी वाले का, बॉम्बे म्युनिसिपैलिटी वाले का, बीएमसी का गलती है। वो ढक्कन निकल के रखने का कुछ
fault of the authorities for not cordoning of the area. We have Aarti Sathe, spokesperson of the BJP in Maharashtra, with us over the phone line. Ms. Sathe, thank you for being with us here. Please respond. This is once again a case of the BMC caught napping. Months-long project that was going on, which was stalled for the past few months, but the area was not cordoned off. It was a dangerous area for young children, and it should have been cordoned off.
I am getting early reports right now about this tragedy, and I completely convey my heartfelt condolences to the family of the bereaved child. If any negligence has happened on the part of BMC, from what I can read and what reports I get, is that there was a pit which was dug alongside the water pipeline of the BMC, and as a result thereof, I don't know. One will have to really see. One will have to investigate. A police complaint, I'm told, has been filed. So after the investigations, if there is any negligence which has which comes through, and which can be said that some ex-official or some contractor is liable, then surely, the policy of this government from the last many years has been to bring these contractors or the negligent officers to books. So surely, enough and adequate measures will be taken. Why this pit was kept open is a question also which will need to be investigated. Why no action was taken? Why no follow-up? So all these things surely will come out in the course of the investigation, and as a government, we will see to it that.
Right, Ms. Sathe, how much time are you willing to give to this? Sathe, how much time are
It's
you
a
willing to
question.
give to
It's
this
not a
case
question
of
of how much
negligence, where the
time.
people living nearby saying here that the lids of the open pit were lying open for months? Why didn't the authorities seal them before this tragedy took place? Why is this area not cordoned off? When you know that people are living in that area in such close proximity, why weren't the concerned steps taken there and then? How long does it take for any intelligent person to establish that this is a case of negligence?
Look, like I said, if there has been negligence which has been going on for a long time, or if there is work which has been, sometimes various authorities together start the process of digging. So it's only in the course of investigation one will have to see that which authority was responsible, whether there were several authorities working together on that spot, and as a result of which authority really did not heed to the request which the public had made. So where the onus ultimately lies will be a fact-finding process. That fact-finding process will happen only through an investigative means. And in future, we'll see to it that these things are not committed. And
yes, Ms. Sathe, it's so easy to take the steam off this this burning issue. If you say that there are multiple authorities on ground, eventually someone is going to be going scot-free here on this case with the confusion of which exact authority is in charge. That is always what the government does. That is along predictable lines, having no respect, no value for the lives that are lost, continue to be lost in these cases of negligence.
Going to be nobody who will go scot-free is an assurance I can give. But to bring somebody to...
Let's get in a word here. It's hardly an assurance. It's hardly an assurance, Ms. Sathe. Nicholas Almeida, activist with the Watchdog Foundation, here with us over the phone line. Nicholas, thanks for being with us. What is the sense that you get from each of these respective voices of the tragedy that is taking place in Trichy in Tamil Nadu and this one here in Thane in Maharashtra? It is typically of desperately wanting to beat around the bush here on this so that their authorities, their civic officers go scot-free. No one would be held responsible.
And there is no accountability in the city. These pit holes, this children's death in the potholes in these such incidents are going scot-free. If there is accountability, I think today itself, the government should have an audit of all this better wherever the potholes and all these are open drains and all these things. If such thing was done, it was open since last 4 months, then is the corporation blind? The municipal commissioner has no accountability in the city of Mumbai. We are honest taxpayers and small children are dying. It's a shame. The corporation, one of the richest corporations, that all the contractors are being left scot-free. Not a single contractor in this city where deaths have occurred has not faced any police cases or something like that. Only police cases on paper, but no action from the government. I think the court should interfere in this, intervene.
And what should be that deterrent here, even for negligent officers, Mr. Nicholas? Do you think they need to be held responsible for culpable homicide, for irresponsibility, for negligence? These are the charges under which they should be booked. Do you think that is going to work as a deterrent? We don't see that happening in most of these cases here.
100%, madam, it has to happen. I'll give an example where we are fighting that case in Bombay High Court regarding the Kinara incidents where 8 children eating their food died and still no account.
Okay, we seem to have lost that line, but we'll have to leave it at that. We appreciate all the voices who've spoken to us here, but one thing is clear. Authorities in charge in each respective civic department know fully well that they will not be held accountable. They will not be held responsible, which is why they're not taking lives seriously. These are 2 young lives, one already lost, one on which efforts are on, the 4th day today, the 2-year-old who slipped into a several hundred feet deep borewell. We hope he is still surviving and he will be pulled out alive today itself with no further delay. But there is someone that needs to be held responsible. The buck needs to stop at the government or at the concerned civic authority here. On lives being lost, this needs to be taken far more seriously. Thank you for being with us.